Hi, Bill. It's Maria. I just wanted to let you know that a lot of the committee members are at East Gloucester in person, and we're just waiting for one of them to join the Zoom.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
I'm in a panic because I didn't bring my other set that's stronger than these.
Right.
Bill, can you hear me? Bill Booth or Maria, can one of you come?
I can hear you.
All right, so
Yes, I can hear you. Yep.
all right, I'm just gonna aim this and get out of this, off the screen. Is that good? Yeah?
Great.
Oh. How are you? What do you want to do? Raise it up? Yeah. There we go. I think that's good.
That's good enough. But you move it a little bit.
Yep. So the little wavelength, right?
Yeah, so that'll, yeah, if you want a second to look. Yeah, you can take a look.
Hi, Bill. Can you hear us? Great.
How are you? That was a quick trip. Were you there for the other meeting?
No, I was the one who was, that you ended up muting.
Ah. Okay.
I was trying to switch from my phone to my computer and it was just like, hang on one second. Can one of you say hi, Bill, and see if he can hear you from there?
Yes, that's
Okay.
good.
Good. Okay. And can you see the boards somewhat, right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, so I think.
Yes.
As you're speaking, it seems like you're the only person who's seeing us remotely.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Maria.
Are there any attendees?
No attendees at this point.
Okay. So
If you are walking, please find parking lot. Could you please move your car? Thank you.
All right.
So unless, if you're going to remain the only one, we'll just leave the boards back there. But if we see other people joining in, you know, if the participants go up to 4, then we'll move the
Yep.
board to a better view.
Can you see this first one?
That'll be good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's built so I can send him the links afterwards.
This is for public record.
Yep. All right, hit it.
All right, so this is our this is our second round. What I want to do in this meeting is kind of touch base on things we talked about moving forward with the design, see if we like the direction it's going. The first board kind of lays out the public wing, and then the other 3 boards explore the classroom wing. And I'll talk about this first, just so we can get it out of the way, and then talk further about this one and go from there. I did put the material images on these boards as opposed to having boards separate, and I have the materials on the table here. So if you guys want to get up and play with them as we're talking, I felt like it was easier than having them on the board. All right, so for this board, so this is the public wing. You'll see these have floor plans for the first level and then the second level. I went ahead and rendered them based on our conversations. So using the materials we talked about, putting them graphically on the plans, so you can visually kind of see where they are in the building. And if after the fact you want to talk a little bit more detail about that, we can. But what I wanted to start with was the epoxy floor, which you would see in the kitchen, the nurse, the art, and then all the like large bathrooms. One of the things we had talked about was when we presented a more neutral finish for everything, you guys wanted to explore adding some color into it and making it a little bit more fun. So online they have a digital program that you can use their standard colors and add that to it. So what I did was I used the closest representation of the color palette that we're using to kind of create that digitally. And I brought an actual sample to see kind of what that would necessarily look like. And if we refine this, I can get like a final sample made so we can see it in real life. But this is exploring adding that color. So you would see that in the art classroom and in the bathrooms. So the kitchen, we had talked about doing neutral in art, neutral in the nurse and the kitchen.
Neutral nurse kitchen, that's
Art and bathrooms, just to bring some color into those spaces.
I think the non-slip texture of the sample, and also when it has metallic content.
So these are like little paint flecks. They're actually like little paint that they just spread over the floor.
So is that actually what it would be right there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a digital representation, but it's essentially they take little paint flecks, put it on the floor, and then pour an epoxy over it, looking like this. Yeah, this is exactly what it would. Yep, so they have a digital program that you can put in the different colors, and I was trying to put in the colors we were using. We don't have to do all the colors, we don't have to use those specific colors, but I was trying to get close to what we were doing.
What's this like to clean?
I think it's just soap and water. It's sealed, so there's no, you don't have to resurface it.
Doesn't have to be waxed.
Nope.
It's actually very easy to clean. It's on the kitchen floor over West Here, the epoxy here. It's been, they've enjoyed.
Pretty sure it's just soap and water if they need
I was
to.
wondering about the texture here, whether that traps dirt and grime and stuff like that.
It should be balanced with non-slip and.
Right.
Oh, because it's non-slip. Oh, I know that.
But there isn't like a lot of like little, once they pour the layers over, it's pretty smooth. So does that seem like a right direction? Like, yeah, okay.
Do we have any opinions about the color that Josh has, like the pieces or we?
Do you like the direction of using the colors that we're trying to use in the building?
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll try and get a physical sample of that so we can like really see it. Because it's obviously printed, so there's a little variations. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is the carpet, because we talked about again finding something that ingrains some of the color into the building. Again, trying to pull in some color to make the school a little bit more kid-friendly. So where we have carpet is admin and then the media center. So what I kept falling back to was the last sample I presented, which has a very neutral base carpet that has those threads of color. And I had them make a few samples of different colors, different bases. What I was looking at was more of a kind of a warm base with added color to it. But you can see in here, there's more neutrals with those same colors here. This just doesn't have the purple in it. This one is in between these two, but and it does have like the three colors that we were looking at. So the media center and the admin.
We get to look at it?
Yeah, oh yeah. So I brought these, but I also brought the book because they do have a wide range of color. I just pulled out what I thought made sense, but you can see they have some ranges of color. And then you can see some of the
I think so too. A little more bold with the color.
Yeah, I think I like that.
sticks out more.
What do you think?
And these are for.
So you see those like the color.
These are the
Oh,
strands. This one's the
Yeah, because that one on top doesn't have any color strands. I just wanted to show the color.
Or were you thinking like a neutral color with the accent pieces?
Yep, that's what those two examples are. They have some of those colors in it.
Woven in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then again, like these are some of the other colors. I just picked out ones that I thought were close.
Yeah, I like the earth tones.
Yeah, exactly.
That one has a little bit, you can see it's more, it has some more movement in it as opposed to like that one.
Right.
Like it just has some more.
Like this makes me look dizzy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Because it's got lines going this way and then lines that way.
Yeah, I see
It's really
that.
warm.
I like the bigger one.
Yeah, and it is warmer, so it'll make the space feel a little bit warmer than
Oh,
Right.
why is there not a stripe here?
So they have patterns.
Were you thinking this as the background, which is the gray carpet?
No, so that's a different background. So that's.
I like this background. You're thinking this is that background. Okay.
So that background
It's the
with
very
those
light
colors,
dark.
which are pretty close to what's already on there.
Would that wide space be repeated as you go around, so it's just wider stripes, it wouldn't look, you would notice that there's a missing stripe spread out?
Yeah, it gets, I don't know if there's like an actual, like, I don't know if that's like good pictures of them, but it's not really, I mean, this is that kind of dizzy looking carpet. Yeah, they're not showing that specific type one, but, usually it's monolithic, so once it's all in, it kind of just blurs away. But I can see if they can give me like a full range
I was just gonna say,
picture of it.
because what happens, I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, with these, like your stripes, your second square, your yellows on one would be.
It depends on, yeah, it depends on how you, because there's different ways you can lay out the tile.
Okay.
And these
So
tiles,
it's gonna
like,
be as a tile, not as a. Right.
right, so these tiles, these aren't even the true sizes, these are like 3x3 tiles.
Okay.
So they're pretty big themselves, I just didn't have like a full-size tile.
This one doesn't have a direction piece.
Yeah, so that one's missing a backer, it was just quicker for them to make the sample.
So if they're tiles, thinking of probably more in the media center, little kids picking at the corners, how durable are they?
So they have an adhesive that keeps them down, it's a commercial grade.
Okay.
If it comes up, it needs to be repaired because it's a failure of installation. But you shouldn't have that, the seam should be so tight that
Sitting
you,
on the right at the end.
right, when you look at it, you probably won't notice that it's tiles.
Okay.
Just
Right.
because of how tight the seams are. So, all right,
So you don't have these labeled, but we're gonna call this the
The big one.
big one.
the big square.
The big square?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys will get, can you get us a representation of what it looks like,
Yeah, I can get a full-size sample,
Yeah,
and then I can get a full-size image of like what a room would look like with it.
that'd be great.
So the plan would be when they're laying it to correspond the colors or line them up so that it looks like a one full
So it's
piece?
because of the size of it, it
Yeah.
may not look bad to have them like shifted every other tile, so
Right.
it looks like there's movement.
Gotcha. We may want to see that
That's
later on.
probably what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they are pretty big tiles themselves, so when you get to the next one, it'll just, in your eye, you won't really notice it. It'll
Right.
just look like a nice color kind of.
Put all in the same direction. They're not going to turn like sideways.
Because the last thing you want is just a yellow line that goes the entire strip of the
Right.
room.
That's true too.
You want it to break up a little bit. So, all right, well, that's good.
And did we agree with all of
They're
the,
stuck on.
the 4 colors that he has here?
I think we'll have to
That's probably
go through this.
Right, yeah, we'll have to talk about that further, because so the next thing I want to talk about is the gym. I did a render of the floor plan with the wood, and then we're proposing doing a dark blue border with a color in the middle. I have the basketball lines as black, and I have the volleyball lines as white. And then I updated the render of the gym when I was looking at the crash pads. We were talking about the different colors. I did bring a sample of the color range of what the crash pads are, so we don't have a lot of range. But I was proposing these two blues alternating randomly. Yep. And then on the floor would be like a dark blue similar to this around the edge.
Similar to,
Like this color. Yeah, I can't match it because it's just like this. But it's actually pretty close to it. But it would just be like a darker blue. They do have a light blue, but it tends to be more very light blue. And we did talk, it's hard to see, but we are going to do the color around the windows and explore that further. I do have a sample of the curtain. Here it's a crushed velvet. They do have a few other colors, but they're very like royal blue, as opposed to that's more of a muted blue. But I thought would look nice in that space.
Do you like the alternating or would it be solid? So we said alternating.
Yeah, again, it doesn't need to be these two colors. We can add another color, something. It's just hard with the limited budget.
Do you have any examples of other gyms that have variation on the wall?
Yeah, we have a few. Yeah, we have a few. Yeah.
It just looks visually distracting. Yeah, can't decide if it's great or not.
What we've done in the past is done more of like a neutral colors like grays, just so it kind of goes away.
The other thing that we've done too is you do like 3 dark color and then a light color.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I did. I have like 2 blues, like 3 darks, 1 blue, 1 dark. Just kind of break it up, but maybe that's too much.
It creates a pattern, but it's not, you know,
yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of lightening up the dark blue.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Maybe seeing it the way you're suggesting, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1.
More of a consistent pattern.
Yeah. I do like this.
Yeah.
And I also like it because this, I like the use of color here.
Yeah.
But this is so white.
Yeah. And there will be color in the windows. It's just harder to pick up on this view.
Yeah, like the 3 and 1 or 3 and 2, I like that.
Yeah. So what I can probably do is do another iteration of like an elevation, have some example photos of real life images. Are there any colors other than maybe like these two that you want to explore?
We're pretty limited with the gym pad colors.
Yeah, that's why I brought the example.
You don't make wide range of colors.
I think those colors are fine.
I noticed your mask.
I knew you were gonna come back.
Yeah, I do a version where we explore
Oh my
the,
God, Fusco.
I could do a few options where explore like the blues and maybe mix with like the neutral to kind of tone it down a little bit.
Is it
Just
the
have a few
turquoise that's
options.
the issue? It's a little bit too much of a contrast?
I know, you could use the dark blue and the white, you know, it's white up top.
Or you could shift to two dark blues, dark blue and darker blue.
Like as opposed to like something like that. There's white or there's like gray.
Or the gray and blue, or
Right.
The blue and the grays tend to go well together.
Yeah.
I like the dark blue for sure.
Yeah.
Like this dark blue or this medium blue.
which one's on the wall there? Is it medium and light?
So I was gonna do these two, just because this felt too dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really showing very well on this, but that's what I was trying to propose.
Okay.
But I can definitely explore with some neutrals.
So do we like this blue right here? Right?
Yes.
It's this one that's in question. Yes?
Yeah, but if you minimize it in a 3-1-3-1, right, this is the one.
Yeah.
It sounds like explore some blues with some neutrals and some
Or just
options.
less of that.
I don't think I should go to the white. The white,
Yeah,
so get 30, marked up
yeah.
very quickly.
No, I
I think it's way too dark.
think it's too dark.
Yeah,
I think we're okay with 2
The
blues.
colors are good, it's the pattern.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
all right. That makes sense.
Can I also ask if you're gonna have to do a sample, can you do a sample of this with a neutral, with the neutral instead of the white? As the, I mean, the background.
Yeah.
Do like a,
Do the same colors,
Yeah.
but more with the,
But this background's more of a cream than white. Right?
yeah.
right, so that, I think that's just the printing. The background on this would be what's on there. Like this kind of, this white is what would be that.
Oh,
that way.
okay, that's it.
It's just the printer. Sorry about that. I see what you mean, because that one's very bright.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's right.
Yeah.
Looks like you're not.
Just to touch base on the media center, I was also proposing adding that color around those windows as well. Just again, if we're gonna have that story throughout the building, why not do it in here? Again, with the cafeteria, I didn't really change much. We'll just update the colors according to everything. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions about this right now before we move on to the other one? I would like to note that on the exterior committee, they are leaning towards more of a warmer wood rather than like a lighter wood that we've been showing. So I think as we progress, we'll have to keep going back and kind
Probably
of
should match, so.
match. I don't think we'll ever fully match because outdoor stains tend to be a little
Yeah,
bit
but we
darker.
should complement.
But we shouldn't have yellow and they should have like a honey color. So just in the back of your head, just remember that's something we'll have to keep going back to and finalize it. But our woods tend to be a little bit warmer anyway, so it's dark.
He goes dark all the time.
And then the gym for the stage right now, I have a linoleum on the stage. It's in a dark, like a dark gray, just to hide any scuffs or anything. We've done that in our last two schools.
So it's not a wood floor.
On the stage.
Is that
On the
for
same.
maintenance purposes too?
And for durability and also for the functional use of like, if you're gonna use it for dance or those kinds of things. It's a little bit-
You can tap dance on the now.
Or you can do a tap dance.
I don't. Just
Or
in
maybe
case.
some ballet.
Well, I know speaking with the gym teacher,
I'm thinking.
yes, yeah, so the gym teachers did like the idea of using that space for yoga, and there's gonna be a space in there for them to have kind of a meditation zone. And then obviously the music teachers can use that space as well, while there's a gym going on.
I don't know how I feel about this stuff. I know at one point there was talk of mirrors on the stage. Is that still there?
There's no mirrors on the stage. What they did ask was, not over in this corner, there's a 8-foot section. We're proposing removing part of the panel to show a like 8-foot span of shatterproof mirror. It's not actual mirror, I think it's plastic. It has like a reflectance.
Yeah, who's they that's asking?
The gym teachers, sorry. They had proposed that we did at one point talk about doing it on the stage. but we mix that.
They don't have a valley bar or anything like that.
They didn't want to.
It's just their.
Yeah, it was just for, they want it on one side of the gym, so when they can take some of the pads off, there's mirrors so they can do whatever they do with the.
Will would it be covered up with pads at other times?
Yeah, yeah, so you would never see it unless they purposely take those section of pads off.
Yep.
And I don't believe it's actual glass, I think it's like a plastic, like a school grade plastic. I would have to look at the specs. So yeah, that is in just one portion of the gym. And right now I have it as an 8-foot section.
Might be bigger than that. I know you should ask them, whatever we ask them, you should ask them. I don't know how functional 8 feet is. It seems like nothing.
Yeah, if you're doing that activity with a bunch of kids, maybe.
Yeah, but we should just check back.
Okay.
Oh, just check, I didn't check back on the length of that, whether it's 8 feet. It doesn't seem very, I'm not sure what they're using it for, honestly, but that doesn't seem very functional amount of space for anything, honestly.
Do you have a director with this school?
We have an athletic director, we have a bunch of phys ed teachers.
Because
But
right now, we've just been talking to the two phys ed teachers.
yeah, I think it's probably,
There was like an overall director.
yeah, yeah, I think Brian LaFata probably should weigh in. He's a super guy, really knowledgeable, really, and he just may have, because he'll also have a sense of the broader use of this beyond just the school use. You know, his name is Brian LaFata. I could connect him with you or
Yeah, because usually for the gym, we like to talk to the directors too, because like right now we have basketball and a volleyball system.
Yeah.
The gym teachers didn't want anything other than that.
Yeah, let's talk to Brian.
So
Actually, Stephanie can connect you. Stephanie DeLisi can connect you with Brian rather than me.
It makes sense, doesn't it, district-wise?
Absolutely it does.
Have an athletic director, there should be some
Same.
vision of.
Yeah, no, I mean, he just did the field house at the high school, so he might have some other ideas on lining of this. Very honestly,
yeah, because we need to know the order too of like, do you rather the basketball lines above the volleyball, stuff like that. It's always important.
I'm sure that's probably the case.
Okay, any more questions about that?
I just want to, as we go through, I just want to revisit this color as we move down that way.
Yes, okay. All right, so the next 3 boards are exploring the academic wing and exploring the colors that we were discussing. Overall, I think our last discussion, we had yellow, red, and purple. The group pretty much said they didn't like the red, so
It was me, then like the rest.
so I started exploring different options. Orange was the next color that made sense to me in the palette, but I wasn't sure if that was going to be what we wanted to do. So I did do another option where I did like light blues as an alternative. And you can see them there just because it ties into it.
Instead of what, the orange?
Instead of the orange. Or instead of another color. But I did another example in case we didn't like the orange, we didn't like the blues. I'm just trying to give us some options.
So you can essentially substitute that for this one or this one.
Yeah, where the colors are don't really matter. I was just laying out in my head what made sense. So generally, first floor would be yellows, second floor would be oranges, third floors would be purples in the academic wings. Do you want to talk about it, or should I go through everything?
So in a sense, what you're saying though is that these colors having a connection makes sense.
Yes, so because they're shared on the same floor. So each level has 2 grade clusters. And what we talked about was a light color and a dark color for each color.
So this is like first grade and then kindergarten.
Yep, so it would be like light yellow, dark yellow.
Okay. Yeah, it does say it right there. Thank you.
Sorry.
So in these boards, they're all pretty much the same. I was just trying to show the color and context of the space. But what's on this board is a floor plan showing the pattern on the floor, an example of looking down the corridor next to the cluster of classrooms. So pretend you're standing here and looking this way. It would be the cluster of classrooms. This is an elevation of, say, this wall, looking at the classroom, just to see in 2D and a 3D version of that. Looking into the classroom, and then it's repeated throughout.
I like this.
Right, so there are some elements that are tied throughout the building as connective tissue, one being the corridor tile. You'll see this in academic and in the public spaces. And you'll see here, that's the tiles.
That's this.
Yeah.
Got it.
My inspiration was water splashing up on the beach and pulling back. As kind of a wave that kind of draws you throughout. In each of the classroom blocks, I have these vertical wood elements that have the room numbers on them as indicators. These are representative of the public space because we don't have any wood columns in the academic side. So they're trying to have a connected element to it.
So is this like classroom A, classroom B, and this is the small room in the middle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, this wave, the waves are like, my question might first back here. She talks about, I'm drawing a blank, you know, the activity walks.
Right.
The break walks, with that, did we say that was gonna be here?
Yeah.
Instead of in the academic?
So that was one of the things I wanted to talk to here because I didn't include them here right now because I had no idea what direction to go in. But where I'm proposing them is right outside these classrooms right here. Oh, sorry, the offices. Just because there's not much going on in the school here. Yeah. And then the OT and PT did request to have something outside of their space. So that's where I was intending to do something. I just don't know what it is yet. And I did just go to vet and I saw that they had some.
So I have a little one here, but the ones at vets are actually nicer.
Yeah. So.
Tell me how I said that.
Activity walk or wall?
Walk.
Walk, yeah.
So a movement break, and there's a little one right there, but the kids, it tells me to walk or talk or jump, it's just to get a movement break out.
Yeah, Vets has,
Right.
Vets has beautiful ones, I have one little one.
Because there's two ways you can approach it. Like the ones that are vets are like probably, I'm assuming, stickers that go on the floor, which if you're cleaning the floor becomes an issue.
Janitors don't like that.
So if there's some kind of thing we can have, because you can laser cut these floors to put stuff in. That's something that we just need to talk further about. But we have been carrying it in the pricing as specialty flooring.
I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure.
I didn't want to put something that I didn't know what to do yet.
Yeah.
But those are where we're proposing them.
I'm sorry, just where are you going?
So outside of OT and PT, and then,
It's a limited area.
yeah, and then just right here.
And the other thing with the stickers is you will not be able to apply to this building for at least a year or.
Do you know where I'm talking about stickers?
Yeah.
Right. So that's why.
So again, that's another conversation, because it's just so personal to the project that I didn't know what to do. But I'll talk about this, because I think that in my mind, I was trying to do some of that. So in this proposal, this design of the floor, I introduced a third color on the floor, another neutral. Because what I was proposing is we have a strong center bar going down the middle, and then two that flank it on either side. This has been successful in the past in a lot of the projects, because if students are going down the hallway either way, students can walk the line, and you have a visual difference that they know to follow. So that helped. And what I was doing with the blue was introducing that at the blocks of the classrooms. So one, it indicates that like you're outside of a classroom, but also for the kids that need a little bit more stimulation, they can follow that line, but maybe they meander a little bit, kind of, and it breaks up the walk down the hallway a little bit. So
that's these three, right?
It's those three, yeah.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
So that was my process on top of our little discussion of those spaces as well.
And how about in the classroom?
So the classrooms, I was trying to do something similar, but I was trying to divide the spaces into zones almost. So this is the classroom proper. You have like the cubbies over here, the teacher desk here, and some classroom furniture. There will be some over here too. But I divided it up based on where the partition wall is. So when that's open, you have this kind of designated zone that's shared between the two classes. And I introduced that kind of the wave with the border of the blue, just as, again, a visual identifier. Just to tie into what I was doing in the corridor.
This is the stairwell.
Yeah, stairwell, yeah. There's one right there. And then the other one. Yeah, so this one will actually be used a lot because it goes up to the playground. So you can use these to go up and down because it's a separate classroom.
Just not use much.
And does that match this way?
Or would that be used as much?
No.
It's
It's depends on how they want to use it.
it's definitely, it's to be used.
Yeah, so this way is a little bit longer.
But I like that they're.
You could probably soften this, it might be a little much. Maybe it follows a little bit better. Might be easier for the installers too.
Josh, what is this material?
What do you mean?
What is the yellow material? Is that
Oh, it's soft, it's
So
soft.
the white, wall board.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the, acoustical ceiling above that.
yeah. So in the elevation, what we had talked about, we have in each classroom, you'll have, in our discussion with the teachers, they wanted a marker board outside the classroom. So each proper classroom has a marker board, and then the 2 picture rooms. And we'll have some elsewhere throughout the building. So does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Want to talk about colors?
Yes, colors.
Kathy, do you have some thoughts?
I don't like the mauve.
Wait, that's the top one?
Yeah,
purple.
it's like,
Yeah.
it just feels weird to have something up lending towards pink in space for 4th and 5th graders
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in elementary school. It's just, I like this, I understand all the asking of blue and everything, but I'm still feeling like something's missing in terms of vibrancy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure purple.
Is doing it.
I almost like this combination on the back, better
Yeah.
than that, but I'm not sure that's
Can we just,
the ultimate either.
Yep.
You know, I mean, there's
More greenish.
being subtle, but there's also being kid-like as we.
Looks oceany.
So.
But does that change your flow?
Well, the way I was thinking about it, adding the blue was there's blue in the sky already. To me, I actually think would you not want purple at all, or is it just that one color purple that's like that one pinkish purple that's?
The
Maybe
red
the
is better
more-
than the purple.
Yeah.
Purples are difficult.
The mall on the purple is a lot of mall
Yeah.
purple.
Yeah.
The blues are beautiful.
Yeah, and so I like the theme of the yellow going through the hallway,
Yeah.
and the blue through the hallway.
Yeah.
I'm not so thrilled with that.
The orange was nice. Did you like that orange?
On the backside.
Instead of the mall.
But then do you want to do
so,
yellow, orange, blue, or does that not flow?
yeah,
the way you
that's
want
right,
it to?
yeah, that's right, that's right.
To me, that still feels like maybe it's more of a sunrise and a sunset, but I'm not opposed to that.
It was beautiful. My sunrise.
No, it's still the same concept.
I just want to see the more vibrant colors on the older kids. If you're trying to do calm, and then hopefully they'll have it together by 4th grade.
More vibrant than blue, or we go back to the
Back
red?
to the, well, or the orange.
The orange, more vibrant.
I don't know, I'm just feeling like I'm looking for the high note somewhere.
Yeah,
That would be jarring.
Yeah.
What if we saw, what if we saw the red one? I can't remember what the red looked like, honestly.
Right.
Just I mean, I think we could do this. Just want to see the red again, just to see.
The red would be more vibrant, and I would get over it.
Would it?
Maybe it's like different.
Right,
I
yeah.
wasn't saying no red, we're
Right.
talking about
Yeah.
that shade. I didn't look.
Right, yeah. No, I
So
told,
maybe-
I was trying to just go in a different direction because in my head, I was like, I've looked at so many reds and it was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
I looked at oranges and that started driving me crazy.
So if you give us a different angle on the red, but
Yeah.
let's leave these three. 'cause we
So
think-
what I could also see is like, this could work, but also another option where maybe like these are reds
Yeah,
and it's yellow, orange, red, and
Yeah.
now that becomes like a full blown like
yes,
warm sunset.
With all the blue accent that we have.
Right.
here.
right,
Right.
But look, we're talking more of a maroony red, we're talking more of a.
yeah,
It wasn't like,
Gloucester red?
yeah,
Color red.
yeah. it's
Crimson.
crimson.
It's officially, apparently, it's crimson. and-
Yeah, I'll have to, there's so many reds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warm up the maroon.
And then you can't find crimson.
yeah, right.
So Carol,
Yeah.
so you end up with
I like this blue a lot. I like these.
Yeah, I did bring a slightly lighter blue, just in case that was too dark, but, that had been what I was.
Anyway, and sorry, what are these again?
So these are so this would be like the wall color, this is the color that's an admin, and I did make a change. The door frames are gonna be a neutral color instead of the dark blue, because I thought that would not age very well.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, just to stay consistent.
Yep.
It ages like nicely as opposed to doing colors.
Yep.
Yeah, because originally I had them as blue.
No, I like the neutral better.
Yeah. I had a change of heart.
These are what you live with, your tile and your flooring.
Right.
Yeah,
Accent color can be changed, but
yeah.
gotta get that tile right.
Yeah, I think just try going with the red.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Happy to do it.
But would that.
So that
mean-
would change.
I was gonna say, that would mean that would be, whatever that color is,
Yep.
would be the red that you find here.
Yep.
Right? You don't want purple in the red.
Yeah, so-
Oh, no,
red on the
no,
wall.
yeah.
Whatever color we end up going with
We'll go
will
there.
reflect this and we'll change the epoxy as well.
Okay,
Because right now I have like purples in
yeah, so
there.
you take the purple out.
Right.
That's actually the one thing that would bother me a little bit with purple.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
And any color you see throughout the building, if it's purple, it will
Almost
change
comes off.
whatever.
so that purple will come in as more red.
yeah,
I like it.
I love the hallways. I think that. that's-
Oh, it's red.
Yeah,
organic for a hallway. That's
well, I
what-
mean, everything like the, just love the accents coming around some of this.
Yeah, it'll be nice because as you're walking down the hallway, the wood ceiling comes out and it'll break up the ceiling and draw you into this space. And you'll have nice views out to the playground area looking out. It'll be a really nice kind of like break in the moment of the day for kids to go in there.
Just language classroom, age 4.
No, language classroom will be on the third floor. Those are student support centers.
So that's because this is the blue one. I just reused this one.
Got it.
So,
Maybe using a vibrant, so this is a.
there's lower language and upper language.
Yeah, well, it's an elementary school
Yeah,
too.
because should I be using it instead of, what students need more vibrant colors, and which ones need more muted colors?
Yeah.
Maybe third grade as opposed to
Right.
the fifth
The older
grade.
kids can do more. red.
Exactly, fire them up a little bit. So
I'm just there, so very well. We're in the pink hallway.
Right.
Just hear it.
What we need to work about is my language is classroom.
Is
The other person.
As a state.
It's sometimes the classifier is self-contained, and that's already there, so third grade is on this floor, 4 or 5 minutes.
Honestly, every time I've looked at colors, at my house it looks different. I go to the office, it's like night and day.
Well, in here, so you can just say.
You guys have already
On some days it's supposed to.
Yeah, yeah, you have it so that at some point, you walk, and you take the final decision outside and when it's.
Yeah.
It's better for 4 or 5 to be here Thursday month, than 4 or 5 to go to the third.
Right. But you have to down for this one, but then once you help.
A lot of things are doing things.
So any other general questions? Do you,
What color is this red over there? how that goes back.
Is that?
No.
Oh, is it? That's too red, right? Okay.
I wish I brought-
Okay, for the record, I love that red.
Candy apple
It doesn't fit with this though, but I love that red.
I love that red too.
That's my kind of red.
I don't not like it, but not for a wall. Well, my hard part would be once you, whatever color you put on the ceiling here.
Yeah, the ceiling, that's,
This is gonna be hard, you know.
That's a hard red.
it's a lot of
Yeah,
heavy.
if it's red.
Yeah, no, I agree entirely with that. Yeah, that's a tough red, that's, you know, a lot of red.
So this needs to be the lighter of the two that you choose, and I think that's.
Well, the way it works is one side of the building is a light one, the other
So
side.
this is like fourth grade and fifth grade. So
Yeah.
the dark's gonna be on one.
Yeah, so that's dark and that's light.
You wanna think about that.
Well-
Because these are not daylit spaces,
Right,
right? So you.
It'll be dark.
Right, so if you're gonna put a dark red up
Yeah.
here, or,
I think it also depends on what colors we're using too.
that's true.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
that darker orange on this ceiling is going to change all these other colors
Right.
in that space. I just think if.
So that's interesting. Do you minimize the impact of color if you make this not as wide?
I think you could minimize that by just doing this transition piece, and then these waves could be a lighter red or, you know, a different color. And then at each one of these transition pieces or
Yeah.
gates, as, you know, they kind of remind me as a gate.
Can you show me where the transition pieces are on the helicopter above you? No, like up, like how often they?
So there's one here, one here, one here, and one here.
And then also here as well? Up there? Is it here?
No, they're not, so they're only at the beginning of the classroom door and then the other classroom cluster. That's these right here. So this goes straight to the next classroom, so it goes from here to here.
So sharing the length of this is from where to where?
It's just right here.
Oh, so it's right here.
Yeah, right
And
there.
what up here?
That would be, there's wood ceiling here, and this is just standard ceiling.
Oh, okay. So really, this color, this depth of color you're talking about is here.
limited area.
And here.
That's
Okay, I think it's just your concern. 'Cause it- Yeah, no, I mean.
I think it also depends on what we end up with colors.
Maybe this whole thing.
That
You're
would be
right.
overwhelming.
Yeah, no, you would change the whole, you know, feel of the place.
I think it don't matter what type of color we end up with. Because as of right now, it's each classroom cluster is a different, like, second grade and third grade have the dark one and the light one of the orange. Just so like, if you're that grade level, you'd be like, all right, I'm at dark orange, this is my classroom cluster. You can go down the hallway, be like, oh, I'm in the light orange, just because
It's a
they,
little bit wayfinding.
right, because
It is, yeah.
they look similar, so it's a way to help wayfind where you are. So that's why I approach it that way.
If it's vaulted, I mean, is it like a 6-inch from the soffit to the soundproof?
Yeah, I think, so right now, I think these may be like 6 or 8 to the ceiling soffit.
If you were to color just the inside of the wig
Yeah.
and have the ceiling color,
Oh,
Yeah.
this is an
good idea.
accent piece.
I think,
Which would mimic the windows as well.
Right, so
Exactly,
there you color
exactly.
that.
yeah.
Right,
I think you
okay,
should
okay,
do a sketch
Good
like that
idea.
that shows
Inside of the windows,
Yeah.
the
just
inside of the
that
wig.
inside piece. I think that would,
okay,
that would be a nice touch and not be overwhelming.
yeah,
And the gate.
Right?
Or you could do
That
that
gate
and
and
the,
the
inside.
right, right,
And then
okay,
And this, yeah.
okay. Yeah, that might tone it down a little bit.
Lighten it up.
So still do the gateways, but
Yep.
then just the edge of the.
And then it would help mimic like what we're doing in the gym and the media center.
Now I feel better.
Because you're right, it's a lot of color.
Yeah.
Depending on the color.
And if you look here, I think this is exactly what we would be seeing.
Right.
And I think that is nice. That to me is just enough touch to tell you you're in a different place without being overwhelming.
I'm not convinced. No, in all seriousness, I mean, you're talking about pop, you know, and color, and so I think it'd be helpful to see that. I think it's a good idea. It's a really good idea.
I'll definitely do an option showing both way, show it that way and the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so you can see, and I'll have another range of color. So we can talk about it further.
Maybe the next time when we actually have those two options, we're doing it on the computer, you know, through the, like you're walking through the model. feel it can help you put that in?
Because like, I was just talking to Matt, we at some point wants to do like another walkthrough
Yeah.
presentation
Yeah.
with them speaking to talk about it.
So if you ask, just, I mean, even if it's just this amount, just have
Yeah.
to like, put somebody in that space and make you feel, so you can see how it feels with that ceiling.
Yeah.
I do have to go.
Well, I think I was pretty much wrapped up.
But thank you very much. This is really great progress. We'll talk a little bit on the building committee this afternoon or evening, talk a little bit about how to present this in the community forum.
Right.
But you're presenting some things.
So
today.
what you saw today is not in tonight's presentation.
Oh, that's okay, that's okay.
It's
Yeah.
what you saw the last time
Yeah.
and at the exterior building.
Great, great.
And then this will be it next month's.
Okay, sorry. Great.
For the fall.
Can I add something that might want to be considered? My staff's been talking about it today in particular. Our school nurse just passed away. And we are looking to have some kind of memorial, whether it be a bench, maybe a bench outside the nurse's office that we could memorialize in honor of Nurse Moores.
Yep.
So I don't know how to make that work, but we don't want it to be here and then go away in 2 years. We want to bring it with us.
Right.
So just kind of think about, I don't know how it's going to be.
So-
Outside bench or if it's inside by the nurses.
I'll tell you
station
too,
or-
so the packet that you and Matt put together is going with Ben to the school committee for them to talk about what items you'll be moving.
So this is new because it happened
I
today.
understand, but then what you decide to include, you know, whether it's a bench or planter or whatever it is that you decide you want, if you present that, it goes to Ben and then to the school committee.
Okay.
And then they will vote, and then we'll find a place for it.
Yeah.
But I do think, so the nurse's office is right here, and there is something up there right now, that maybe that's a great place next to the
It's like a
mural.
waiting area or
Yeah.
in my joke to her, I think it should be a hydration station because the
Yeah.
biggest thing was, have you drank enough water today? Have some water after
Yeah.
class? That
think
would
that's-
make me feel good as a human to have that
We
memorialized.
can incorporate that. We definitely incorporate that.
So if it could be something, whether it be the water fountain or, like, I don't know, but just, that's gonna be a change that I'm gonna request.
Michelle, I will forget this. Can you remember to add that to the list, please?
Yes.
And I had one quick.
I will let you.
Good. I'm
Do
sure of
you,
that.
did you want to do a time capsule?
Sure.
And do you have one now?
I'm told there's one out there.
Okay.
I've only been there 6 years, so.
Because I was proposing to do one built behind this bench
Okay.
with like a nice plaque on it.
Yeah, so I was told it was,
Greg Fox,
yeah, that one was.
the one in between?
No,
Oh,
Libby. I'm told the time capsule went down, and the time capsule was her time, so she might know where it is.
So has anyone ever been involved in actually opening up one of these? Because I've been involved in like making some of them, but never opening one.
I have
Yeah.
made
I'm very,
one
yeah,
in Connecticut, but I never.
they're never open, right?
So do we open the one here when this gets to?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think we
so
should.
we have one in waiting right now until school's back in session. And
Thank you.
what they're gonna be doing is taking what was in the old one, showing it, and then putting it in with the new one.
Yep.
And the kids are all adding in the new one. In this school, we're combining two schools, you might wanna, like, put on the old one, pick out some certain things that you want to put on display, and some other things that you want to keep into the new capsule, and then we'll put the new capsule. But we're gonna have to know how big the new capsule is. We're gonna have to figure out how big the new capsule is.
That's gonna want like a painting itself.
I know.
For the second now, just do what we did with McCade, like the bigger
It's
3
the,
foot.
yeah, let's plan on the biggest one, the cylinder, the biggest one that we have, and then we're gonna go smaller. But we can't, it's harder to do bigger.
We did have a Boy Scouts, they had ashes from the first Boy Scout fire, and then you add it to your fire and everyone takes some of the ashes.
That's cute.
You re-up it every.
Oh, and
I thought you were gonna stop with the
Miss-
ashes
so
from the
these are
first
some
Boy
of the
Scout.
materials for that.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like, what?
Yeah,
the
next time
tradition.
we have one, I'll do like
The
a
kids
little
love it, you know, the tradition and the
But
taking something.
typically, it's like a hardwood
It's really cool.
surface, and then the transaction counter is gonna be, I was thinking either one of these like hard surfaces.
Yep.
It's just like, it's like a nice little like, I don't know, 8 foot deep little tire surface that people can put stuff on. And usually there's gonna be like a front space in between that with like a warmer laminate, like more interesting laminate.
That's a nod, because somebody calls me the Richard East.
It's with Hazel.
She's the wicked original.
I figured,
This has some like warm tones in it, so it'll help
Yeah,
tie
I
in.
like that with the rugs too.
But I'll have like a little 3D to show you, just so.
This was,
That's the main lobby.
this looks lighter. Is that the same one that we
It's
talked
the
about?
same one, yep.
Okay.
Yep. I think that one's like called like Beach Castle or something.
Yeah. So again, I think the wood, warming up with the darker wood,
Right.
because this is
It's real
already,
pretty, yeah.
it's a colder
Yeah.
color. So having a warmer, not this color, but that warmer wood.
Yeah.
color.
And we get it, yeah.
Yeah, it's at 5 o'clock. Even I had time to get home.
Where do you?
Amesbury.
Okay,
Great.
all right.
Well, this is good. I think we've made great progress.
Bill, I think we're adjourning here.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you, Maria.
Thanks, Maria.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye.
Leave.